Rory, Chelsea won yesterday.
Mate,
Big,
not only yesterday,
win as well.
3 wins on the spin.
Ooh.
We are basically an unstoppable force.
What's the title of your most recent video on your channel?
Chelsea
Why
won.
Chelsea are going to win the league?
Is that something like Chelsea are unstoppable, isn't it? Or something?
We're back.
I was laughing my head off.
We are
I loved
back.
it when I watched it, yeah.
Yeah, we are so back.
We are back or something, yeah.
Oh, mate, we are back.
Burnley.
3 wins on the bounce.
Is it free?
3 on the bounce.
What is it?
We've
Fulham,
We've
Burnley.
launched Brighton out the cup. Launched.
Yeah, Brighton.
Launched Brighton out the cup.
Fulham.
Smashed up
Won your
Fulham
local
away
derby.
from home, which is something they care about as a
Yeah.
rivalry.
Yeah.
And then we've only gone and battered Burnley, Turf Moor. You know how they always say, Turf Moor,
Yeah.
difficult place
Vincent
to go.
Kompany.
Vincent Kompany, goal down as well. Bounce back, resilience, character, desire, hunger. We got it all. Play
Raheem
Arsenal
Sterling's
next as
looking
well.
good.
If you beat
Raheem
Arsenal,
Sterling.
oh my God.
Didn't-
Oh, we're doing that. Oh, must be doing
Yeah,
that.
2 weeks though after international break.
Yeah.
Didn't Raheem Sterling make Gareth Southgate look a plum? Like he got dropped from the England.
It's not. I don't think it's that relevant. Cause it's
But
so
Raheem
early.
Sterling has been good for the whole season.
Sterling will get on the plane.
No.
No, he
He
hasn't.
will.
No.
Whatever the manager,
No,
whatever
they've
Southgate's
fallen-
picking now, that's what he's
Mate,
picking.
also,
No,
it looks
Yeah,
like
he's got one in
it
mind.
looks like,
idiot.
it looks like
He's
they've
got one in
fallen
mind.
out.
No, he's an
It looks like
idiot.
they've fallen out. You know,
No,
Gareth Southgate hasn't been in touch with Sterling
Really?
since dropping him from the.
He's not been
What have you
good
made
enough.
of Cole Palmer since he's joined?
He's
you lot?
amazing. He's
Scored the
brilliant.
penalty.
Really? You think
He's
that,
been brilliant.
Yeah,
He's been brilliant. He's absolutely been
interested in him. Obviously, I want him to do well, relatively speaking.
Yeah, no, he's been.
What's he brought to the team?
I'd say that he's been our best signing of all of the signings that have landed. Like, and there's been a lot. I'd say he has been the best. He's just got everything. Do you know the other thing that he's got like in spades, which is just so necessary for us because we don't have an abundance of it? Bravery. Like he's not afraid to beat a player. He's not afraid to run at a player. He's not afraid to take a game by the scruff of the neck and take responsibility. Scored yesterday, fan favourite already. Seems to be, despite his young, very tender age, seems to be like one of the senior players.
Is that the kind of front three that you're settling on now then? Sterling, Palmer and Jackson?
Sterling's the interesting one there. I think 2 of the 3, definitely. But I think the only reason Sterling played, don't get me wrong, he was man of the match. The reason we won the game was Raheem Sterling's contribution. He was totally unplayable.
This clip is brought to you by Super 6. We are aware there is currently an international break. It gives you time to sit back, reflect on how your team's doing, how Premier League sides are doing. So when Super 6 returns, you can get your predictions even more spot on to win £250,000 every single match round, all for free. That's an incredible offer. Make sure you download the app if you haven't already. It's Club23 on the app to play with Adam, Rory and myself and 11,000 of you, of course, at home. And you can compete for some massive prizes.
But I think he only played because Mudryk picked up that knock against Fulham. So if Mudryk didn't get that knock, I wonder if Mudryk would have started.
See, I don't watch as much Chelsea as you, obviously, but when I have watched Chelsea this season, Sterling's been the best thing about them. So that sounds weird to me.
But he has missed a lot of so he was magnificent for us against Burnley. He had exactly the same contribution against Luton. So we beat Luton. In fact, they're the games that we've won, and he's been at the heart of both of them. So yeah. Oof. So yeah, I think Sterling is, he's one of our best players. He's one of our senior players. He's the most experienced in the team by a mile, and I think we need to build around him. But Mudryk has featured heavily for Pochettino, so it's kind of a good problem to have.
And how are you feeling about Pochettino? When you look at him now, does he seem to have settled into his surroundings? Is he still finding his feet?
Mate, one of the worst.
Is there pressure on him even? Like, what's the situation at the moment?
I can't believe that it went this way. But fairly recently, some very big Chelsea accounts were talking about Pochettino's future at the club. We're talking about, would we be better off without Pochettino? Like, it seemed to be a genuine conversation. Whereas for me, it's just like Pochettino is the answer to whatever is going wrong. Like, whatever the issues are. Look, Pochettino had made some mistakes. I think, playing players desperately out of position, I think is not ideal. And Pochettino has definitely got some stuff wrong. I think fairly recently we started with 3 left backs on the pitch. Playing Ben Chilwell as a winger, playing Ben Chilwell as a winger, like one of our most forward-thinking players, was costing us because he was finding himself in positions and Chelsea weren't scoring the goals because the chances were going to befall the player who isn't a natural goal scorer. And as a result, we were not scoring enough goals. But Pochettino is probably the best thing about the club at the moment. As in terms of like football knowledge in the upper echelon of the club, nobody's a football person apart from Pochettino. So no, Pochettino needs to be back desperately. And the conversation online, look, I'm not judging anyone for saying anything, but I know I've muted a lot of people over the past, say, week to 15 days just because I couldn't believe that it was a genuine conversation. I mean,
Do you think
big
at
accounts
Chelsea
as well
you're
had,
forced
like,
into that because of the history of your club in terms so every time something gets rocky, because you've usually sacked managers, the talk happens, or was it kind of just far too early for that?
I mean, it was far too... Look, I don't think that there is such a thing as like, it's just too early. Like, when it's going wrong, sometimes I think you have to do the proactive thing. Don't let it rot before you solve the problem. So I don't think it's too early in terms of it just being an arbitrary rule. You can't sack a manager this early. But I just think it's too early because if you think about what he's come into like a terribly rocky ship. And yeah, we lost at home to Forest, which we shouldn't have done. We lost at home to Villa, which we shouldn't have done. We haven't really looked that good. And the only teams that we've beaten have been teams that you would expect us to beat, apart from Brighton in the Cup, but that's a cup game and therefore slightly different in itself. So look, Pochettino's still got a lot to do and needs to improve and needs to be getting a lot more right than he's getting wrong. But I just don't see how sacking him can ever be considered, particularly by these, I'm talking massive accounts, these kids who create Twitter accounts. They got like hundreds of thousands of followers and they're talking about Pochettino out.
The main Chelsea Twitter account has me blocked. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah, I don't even follow it.
You're 11th at the moment in the league with 11 points.
Yeah, mate.
As I said, you're still in the
point a game.
League Cup.
Point a game.
You're conceding less than a goal a game as well.
Yeah.
7 goals conceded.
Scoring goals for fun, mate.
11 goals scored.
4 goals.
Your next few fixtures are...
Yeah, they're terrible. Apart from Brentford, so I can tell you our fixtures, right? I can talk you through it off the top of my head, really. I think that we beat Brentford, but then we don't win another game until December the 9th. So on December the 9th, we play Everton, and I think it's fair to assume that Chelsea can get something out of that game. I also think we'll beat Brentford. Brentford are in a terrible place, really. I think they've only beaten Fulham this year, and that was August. So I think we'll beat Brentford, but then I don't think we win anything else until the 9th of December.
So obviously Arsenal, Brentford, then you got Tottenham at home, City at home, Newcastle away.
Yeah, and then it's Brighton, I think, after that as well, by the way.
But if you beat Arsenal, again, if buts and maybes, let's say you get a result against Arsenal, suddenly you look at that Spurs game a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Those other fixtures.
Weirdly, Tottenham, I know that Tottenham are in form and I know they're currently sitting top of the league, but I will always believe that Chelsea will beat Tottenham. Whatever. Like, I've seen far worse Chelsea teams than this one beat far better Tottenham teams than this one. So I believe that we will beat Tottenham. Whether we do or not will remain to be seen.
Also, it's difficult with Chelsea because if you're going into a game against Chelsea at the moment, no matter who you are in the league, you go into it thinking we can win this game.
Yeah, it's a scalp, isn't it?
But Chelsea go into most games thinking they should win that game. Yeah. Or they should at least compete to win that game. So will Pochettino. And they've got players that can actually harm you. So if you're going into those games thinking, hey, we'll beat these lot today, there's going to be a few of those fixtures like maybe Tottenham, City, where Chelsea surprised a few teams, hit them on the counter-attack, Raheem Sterling or something.
Yeah, and I think now we've started to score some goals. Like, it's been a year since we scored 4 or more goals in a game. Like, we did it yesterday, but it's been a year since we last scored 4. So the fact that we're scoring goals is big. I know it's only Burnley, but it's going to be good for the confidence. Obviously, we're now unbeaten in 3. We've had a few clean sheets. I think there's an element of room, like an element of positivity. Playing quite well. I think that there's a slightly optimistic feeling around the club again. And that's because Pochettino's getting it right. The problem is, this run of fixtures is so bad. It's so unlucky. Like, it just... Like I say, we go to Goodison on the 9th of December. But between now and the 9th, if form teaches us how this is going to work, between today, and the 9th of December, Chelsea will win 1 game. And then obviously we're back to talking crisis again. And then obviously we're back to worrying. So Pochettino needs to put it out of the bag because we can't win 1 game between now and the 9th of December. He needs to find a victory against Brighton. He needs to find a victory maybe against Newcastle, saying that.
Brighton are there for the taking. They're a good side.
Brighton are there. I mean, Tottenham...
Brentford away, yeah, they're struggling.
Tottenham are always there for Chelsea.
Tottenham.
Newcastle... Look, Newcastle...
But even a draw,
we can't win at Newcastle, ever.
But we might be able to get a draw.
We might get a draw, but we've just got...
Might be a couple of wins, couple of draws, couple of losses sort of thing.
We have just got... Look, if you say a couple of wins, so if we beat Brentford and someone else out of the next 7 games...
Yeah.
That's already successful.
Yeah.
That's already better than I would anticipate. That's two wins where I can only really identify one.